That's why we bring in a finance expert to really break it all down for us right now. This is Dan Geltrude with the very latest. Thank you so much for coming on. So first off, okay, what is happening?
Well, that is the question. What is happening? So let me explain it this way. So there is an app out there called Reddit. And it's almost like a gambling forum as it pertains to the stock market. And there's these discussions that go back and forth. And it was brought to light that GameStop, the most shorted stock pretty much out on the market, another way to look at it is probably the most hated stock, right, was being shorted by 100%, which means that investors were betting more shares than actually existed that the value of the stock was going to drop. And that was being played by these large hedge funds. So we'll say the little guys who are on this app formed a herd of investors. And they said, you know what? We're going to start buying this stock in order to push the value up. And the outcome will be we'll make a lot of money on the way up because all the big guys are betting on the way down. So it was like a David versus Goliath with the small investors versus the hedge fund. And they were able, I'm going to use the word manipulate here. That may be a little strong. We're able to manipulate the value legally, so it seems, to go up substantially in a very short period of time.
All right, well, Dan, and explain like when you look at the financials, it's just not there. So when you see this price action, I mean, who is buying it at $300, $305 a share? I mean, when does this bottom fall out?
Well, that eventually it's going to. But here's what's happening. You have a lot of people that are in the stock market who are not savvy investors. So what they're seeing is the headlines, the things that we're talking about, where you have a stock that went from $20 to $300 to $350 and counting and going up. It becomes the shiny object in the stock market. And people get that mentality of, well, we better invest before it's too late. And they continue to invest in a company where the value simply isn't there. This is completely an emotional play for people who are now buying that stock.
And Dan, can you then explain what we're seeing then across the market in whole today? We're seeing the Dow down, other securities down. Is this because banks are going to have to sell other things to cover?
Well, that is what's happening for a lot of people because those margins are getting called, right? So now money has to be put forth. But I think on a larger scale, what's happening here is we see this going on. And I believe the SEC is going to have to take a look at this because it's turning the stock market into a gambling forum as opposed to purchasing companies that truly have value. We don't have that right now. This is pure emotion that's going on. And I think it's impacting some investor confidence. And we also see now AMC being impacted by the same type of herd investor movement. So are we starting a new trend that is really going to rock the market? It could be.
And Dan, what about this? I was wondering about this. Could there be a halt for a day or two on actual GameStop or even AMC, or can that not even happen?
No, I think that can happen, but the question becomes, is there something really illegal going on here? Now, it clearly, based upon a company that really doesn't have much value, is seeing a skyrocket in its stock price, doesn't make any sense. And that becomes dangerous to the market. So could there be a halt in trading? I think it's probably being looked at very carefully right now.
And for those that are watching right now, they're seeing the price there. I mean, at what point are these people, I mean, there's going to be people stuck with a $300 share price. I mean, where does this bottom fall out?
Well, I suspect it is going to fall out, and it's going to fall out soon. So the advice I would give anyone right now is resist the emotions you're having of being left out of something. You know, this isn't the gold rush where you got to get there because it's going to go away. This is not the type of investing that most investors should be involved with, because this is talking about timing the market, and there's a lot of forces at play, some of which we haven't seen before to this extent. Again, I use the term herd investors moving. So you need to be really careful and not get swooped up into the stock of the day.
And Dan, really quick here, can you just explain? I mean, we saw this similar earlier last year with Kodak. That was much smaller. I mean, this is like Kodak on steroids, like times 5.
It really is. And that's what I think is the real danger here. We're seeing something at on a much larger scale, and we may be seeing a trend of these herd investors through the Reddit app that is good, that may move from GameStock to AMC to some other stock that is being significantly shorted, and it just keeps going on. And again, it starts to impact the integrity of the market, and I think that's where the real danger is here.
Yeah, Dan, thanks so much there for all of the insight, really turning into a casino at the moment, at least for the last 3 days. So thank you for giving us that insight and letting our viewers know just exactly, all right, what are we seeing and what could happen maybe in a couple of days or so. So thanks, Dan, so much. We do appreciate it, and for continuing to join us here on News Now from Fox.